If you've been on the internet a while, then you've probably seen videos of people building crazy characters like this. And you probably think that it takes a lot of skill to do. And that is both true and false. You do need a pretty good understanding of how the LEGO system works, but that's pretty much it. But let me show you the 6-step process that I use to build my characters. Also, shout out to my friend Bubsky for giving me this video idea. He said he wanted to get into the LEGO building business, so here you go, pal. The first step to buildable characters out of LEGO is taking inventory of what you have. After all, how are you supposed to build anything when you don't have pieces? See what pieces you have a lot of, and what pieces you're lacking. LEGO does have an official app for this, but it's not the best. If you're looking for something more professional, you're better off with something like Bricklink. It's a million times better and has any LEGO set you could ever think of. If you're as skilled as I am, you've developed a mental catalog and know exactly what you have at all times. The best way to build your LEGO collection is by going to pick-a-brick walls. They're in most LEGO stores and they have a great selection. But it's important not to rely on one piece. The more you use, the less you have, and eventually you're out. I've made this mistake plenty of times, so it's important to stock up if you're going to use them. The second step is doing research. Try and educate yourself in as many building techniques as possible. See what your plastic bricks can do, because they can do a lot more than what you think. And look up a list of all the different kinds of pieces that exist. One brick could have about 20 different variants. LEGO pieces come in all different shapes and colors, not to mention printed pieces. And you could even stumble across pieces you've never seen before. There is no such thing as too much LEGO knowledge. You only get smarter with every click. The third step is getting inspiration. You can get it from literally anything. You could watch one of your favorite movies, you could play your favorite video game. Yes, that is me playing, by the way. Even screwing around with some of the trinkets in your room could help. As long as you don't just get distracted and start playing with toys. Now that you're prepared, it's time for the most important part, conceptualizing your character. This is when you ask yourself, what is my character going to look like? You can make them tall, you can make them short, you can make them elegant or hideous, maybe a little bit mysterious, be perfectly symmetrical or have no symmetry whatsoever. You can make them big up top or big down bottom. Hey, we ain't judging here. Well, maybe a little bit. You don't have to build your characters as big as I do. I just like that size. I used to build at a much smaller scale, believe it or not. They're small, but I did pack in a lot of detail, and it's a good starting point for beginners. It's also good to think outside the box. Your character doesn't have to have 2 legs, or any legs at all for that matter. So take as many notes as you need and do some sketching too. It will go a long way in helping you visualize your characters, and even help you remember them in the long run. Step 5. Experimenting with your LEGO pieces. Now we can start going through our pieces and seeing what works and what doesn't. Try using techniques you've never used before, like using a chair for a shoulder or a wheel for an eye. Almost any LEGO piece can be used as a joint or point of articulation. Always try and see a piece in 3 dimensions. Don't just look at it for what it is. If you're struggling to work with some of your pieces, don't worry. There's about 1 billion videos out there that could help you. If it has more than one connection point, it can be a joint. And a bit of a pro tip, try not to overuse the mixel ball joint system. They're good for their intended purpose, but they're not for everything. And also, these things wear out way too easily. They crack everywhere, and I probably have a bigger collection of broken ones than fixed ones. Go through some of the unique pieces in your collection, the ones you never use, and see if you can use them in a creative way in a build. Giving your character a defining feature that your eyes will be drawn to will make them stand out amongst others. Take my character Pacemaker, for example. Her defining feature is her prosthetic metal leg. Prosthetic limbs are actually pretty fun to mess around with, and that's why so many of my characters have them. Bionicle is also quite the treasure trove of unique pieces when it comes to masks, weapons, and even other body parts. My favorite part probably being this Darth Vader head with a removable mask. It doesn't get any better than 2016 LEGO, I tell you that. And there's probably an endless supply of different weapons and tools that Bionicle provides. You can give your character more than one defining feature. Back to Pacemaker, I gave her a purple streak going through her hair. Just adds a little bit of color. The color you choose can actually drastically change the mood, aesthetic, and even personality of the character, so it's important to experiment and get to a place that you're comfortable with. Step number 6. Now it's time to put everything you've learned to the test. This step is going to take the most time, and it's important to take your time, otherwise your character is not going to turn out how you want it. If I'm in a good mood, it'll take me about an hour to build a character, but I've been doing this for years. And one tip is that it's best to build your character in chunks. I recommend starting with the legs, because that's what's going to hold up the whole character. Splitting it into parts will allow you to focus your attention on smaller details. And your model will go through phases of not looking good or maybe not being what you wanted. But there's a simple technique that I like to call trust the process. You just got to push through until you like it. And again, experiment with colors. You might find that you don't like a certain color after you build it. I wasn't kidding when I said the color could shift the whole personality of the character. Oh no, I might do blue as my main color now. Another thing to keep in mind is proportions. Try and find your art style and your way of Lego bricks. My art style is giving them exaggerated legs with long, lanky arms. Ain't no one skipping leg day. And arms? Pff, they're not important. I already mentioned it a little earlier, but it is very important that you choose the right parts and joints for when you're building. Some parts are just stronger than others, and even though they're all made of the same plastic, it's important to choose the right part for the job. Also, don't worry too much about using the wrong colored part. All you're working on right now is trying to get the shape of your character. The coloration comes in later, and you can even find the mismatched parts add character. And going back to the mixel ball joint system, I do like using it, and I use it a lot, but like I said earlier, it's not for everything. It's only friction holding the joints in place, so they're good for smaller things, but once you start getting to larger characters, it really starts to slip. But let me introduce you to the friction ball joint extender. This little part is used for the Technic ball joint system. You simply put it in between any joint that's too weak, and it nearly doubles the strength. I don't use this piece very much because most of them I have are broken, but I use them in most of my larger characters. Once you've gotten your character to a place you like, mess around with it a little bit. Try to uncover some weaker points that might not hold up as well. This part's not necessary, but it's good for if you're making your character for a stop motion. Once you've completed the structure of your character and gotten your colors sorted out, we can now move on to adding the final details. Now for a little bit of a bonus step. Take a step back and just look at your character and see how you feel about it. Sometimes after you build it, it might look completely off from what you originally wanted. This can be a side effect of building your character in chunks, so it's important to double check. And over time, you might feel that you want to change certain things about your character. Whether it be a new part that comes out or you just feel differently about the character. Some of my older existing characters have evolved a lot over the past few years. And it's kind of fun looking back at some of my older creations. Mainly because the secondhand cringe is more entertaining than the actual video. My older video format kind of sucked and my presentation was horrible. But it goes to show that LEGO is not about recognition, it's about creativity. And a little technique that I like to call, fuck the process. Build whatever the hell you want. There's no laws against plastic bricks, except for minifigure modifications. You can all go to hell. And you don't even have to do original characters. You can base it off an existing character. One of my favorite original characters is based off one of my favorite Transformers characters. Literally anything is possible. With a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, you can build whatever kind of characters you want. And actually, during the production of this video, I used this whole process to make a character. Video on that coming soon. My upload schedule is my greatest weakness. And there you have it. The 6 steps that I followed to build my characters. I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos. This probably sits at top 10 most complicated videos I've ever made. Hopefully I can make this my main video format, but knowing me, I'll probably revert back. So please, make sure you like and subscribe so you can join the cult of the brick. I'm the Brick17 signing off. Goodbye everybody.